Elizabeth, what are you doing here?
I've been formally asked to witness your triumph, my dear. After all, isn't it the natural role of a woman to support her man in victory?
But it's you who insisted I join the Ascalon.
Please forgive my giddiness. I'm just overcome by the thrill of finally being allowed within these hallowed halls.
You certainly have an inquisitive mind. It's quite something. Elizabeth Ashbury, only you can make me smile in these difficult times.
And the same to you, Jonathan Reed. Now go have your little chat with the chairman. I can see he's practically bursting to hear your report.
Welcome back to the Ascalon Club, Lance-Bearer. Please, tell us the good news. Have you put an end to the epidemic?
My hypothesis was correct. Doris Fletcher was the source of the contagion in this part of town. She was probably the first to be infected.
And you cleansed her before the hunters?
I'm just a...
The important thing...
Thank you,
Now, I have another task for you. One of the utmost...
I'm listening.
It's time for you to perform a most sacred...
Recruit a new vampire?
Not exactly.
I'm not sure I'm the best candidate for such a task.
I can hear the hesitation in your voice, Doctor.
It's not a moral question, Lord Redgrave. It's the responsibility of giving immortality to a man I barely know.
Nonsense. Aloysius has been a member of the Ascalon for years. This is but the fruition of a long-held plan.
How would you like me to proceed?
Aloysius is waiting for you at the Dawson estate. Once the deed is done, I'll join you there to celebrate this momentous occasion.
Your word is my command.
Are you all right, Jonathan?
Lord Redgrave has just ordered me to turn Aloysius Dawson, to make him my progeny.
I see. And how do you feel about this?
I won't do it. The very thought of it makes me sick.
The real question here is, why has his lordship given you this task?
Do you think it's some sort of trap?
Do you really want to know what I think about this?
I do, yes.
To make an immortal of a soulless blackguard like Aloysius Dawson.
Should I refuse?
Don't you dare.
Really?
I've recently found proof that the Earl of Bristol is of lesser lineage and only capable of creating skulls.
I'll be sure to keep that in mind. Thank you, Elizabeth. It looks like vampires have to obey Mendel's laws when producing progeny. Powers pass from one generation to another. That's why Dawson wants me to sire him. Good evening, Miss Teasdale.
Can I help you?
What can you tell me about Aloysius Dawson?
Never heard of him.
Really? He's...
He a big shot. Father always said, even those few who offer help always want something in return. And he was right.
Good evening, old chap.
I won't.
What can you tell me about Aloysius Dawson?
Well, I've discovered he's quite versed in occult knowledge. So I wrote him a letter asking him to finance my research about vampires. He never responded.
You need some rest. Good evening, Miss Ashbury.
And good evening.
What do you know?
That man is a...
Goodbye.
She's been quite...
I cannot enter. Are you sure?
Yes.
Goodbye, Miss.
too in this war. Support the equality between men and women.
We meet again, Mr. Kimura.
Dr. Rick.
We must...
Breathing.
Do you know any...
I've never met them.
How is...
I've heard. I am.
Why the...
I was.
Why are you...
I was folk. I was.
At least now...
You make it sound. Over
Though...
Would you? But
Can you?
I've seen.
There is no...
You didn't.
How will you...
I don't know.
What...
If you.
And that...
That's the whole point. My family. I will never see them again. Will they ever know I died here? Will they remember me?
Sorry, sir. See them fancy clothes? This one's the top. I hear leeches. Filthy piece of shit!
Women die too in this war. Support the equality.
Leech spotted! Watch out, boy! Over there! There's one of them! Burn it, boys!
restaurant where the guests are blindfolded before being seated.
Elite! Elite! There's one of them vermin!
Good evening, young lady.
Dr.
My-
Reed.
Do you enjoy...
Oh, yes, Doctor. No.
Do you ever...
Oh, no.
Goodbye.
I hope you can stay a little
I am
longer
sorry,
this time.
I can't help you, sir.
Good evening.
You know you...
Do you know Aloysius Dawson?
Everybody knows him. He's only been...
Did he buy some?
No, he left...
But isn't...
That was before his brother...
May I look at your...
It's always a pleasure...
Dr. Reed, I am glad to see you.
Good evening, Miss...
You know...
May I look...
It's always a...
Dr. Reed, I am glad to see you again.
Hello again.
Do you need...
Indeed.
You...
Sound.
What can...
You should up.
Goodbye for now. Good evening.
So in the end, was it you we were waiting for? Death was our destination. Hello again. This makes no sense. No sense at all. I should have told my brother to go sooner.
Whispers of a son. Good evening, Jonathan Reed. Can I help you in any way?
Can you read the card?
Put the money.
Here is the money.
Ah,
Can you read the cards?
put the money.
Here is the money.
The Joker.
Can you read the card?
Put the money on.
Here is the...
Redemption.
Can you read the...
Put the money.
Here is the money.
The Alchemist.
Can you read...
Put the money.
Here is the money.
The Glutton.
Can you read the...
Put the money.
Here is the money.
The Sorceress. A heart shape.
Do you require... You'll feel better.
Thank you.
Is there anything you could tell me about Aloysius Dawson?
Aloysius Dawson. Yes.
He's...
True?
Can you read the cards?
Put the money on.
Perhaps later. Goodbye, sir. Until we meet again.
I rarely. Cards never lie. But they are never easy to read.
I saved my... Go back to the hell that I shall fear no evil! Black demons!
Dawson's mansion. Here I am at last. But the question remains. Am I ready to make a dying man my progeny? Reduced in rank for falsely accusing a man of murder. I wonder what Inspector Albright thinks about his punishment.
Finally, you're here, Dr. Reed. What took you so long?
I had to pass several of your barricades and outposts to access your mansion, sir.
Death, pestilence surround us, and time is against me.
I see you've gathered some of the most expensive, albeit experimental, blood transfusion equipment available. All this could be so useful in a hospital.
Yes. Since Lord Redgrave sent me a doctor to perform my conversion, I thought you might find some of these devices useful.
Most thoughtful. But tonight I'm not here as a physician.
But I feel reassured that a specialist such as yourself would help me to escape the Reaper.
Very well. But before I proceed, I have a few questions for you. First of all,
I cannot...
Sir,
I don't have a...
Let's move...
Please,
But first...
That's a rather...
Answer me...
To save London, I will finance the most efficient quarry...
I've heard enough. It's time to proceed.
At last! All right, do what you have to do. If it hurts, so be it. I've been preparing such a long time for this.
You don't deserve immortality, Mr. Dawson.
What? What are you prattling on about?
I don't believe I've ever met a man so bereft of empathy. You, sir, are despicable.
No! Wait! You can't! I made a deal with Lord Redgrave. I'll finance whatever he wants. Please, just ask him.
Sleep now. Rest now. Forever.
I would have lived forever. Who are you to decide my fate? Who gave you the authority?
Is it done, Dr. Reed? Is Aloysius Dawson reborn, as expected?
Alas, Aloysius Dawson was not brought back to life after his death. The man is gone.
What? What happened?
He didn't survive the procedure. He was too weak.
This is unacceptable, nevertheless. You were given the simplest task.
Well, get rid of me then.
From now on, you're an outcast.
I'll leave you then.
Yes.
We meet again at the strangest of times, young...
Old Bridget.
Your friend.
How did you meet Lady Ashbury?
She came to us in the sewers in search of answers. Just as you did.
Lady Ashbury in the sewers? Now that's a sight I wish I'd seen.
She said she was your friend, and that she sought the identity of your maker. So I answered her questions.
What kind of answers did you give her?
I knew nothing of your maker, but we talked. We talked a lot. Her words and ideas are captivating. It is no surprise that you like her. I like her too.
Lady Ashbury? You know her? Tell...
The lady approached me, but a few nights...
Harriet Jones is still with you.
Harriet remains angry, but is recovering.
Tell me what is going on.
The lady asked us to keep an eye on your mortal doctor friend while you were away. We spotted the hunters.
No time to lose, then. I must go there right away.
I shall return to my den.
Yes.
Is this...
Good evening.
Can you read the cards for me?
Put the money on the table, then.
Here is the money.
The hunter.
Tell me about it.
I'm from...
Tell me about it. How do you measure the amount of blood on my hands?
I told you. The cards always tell the truth. Well, most of the time.
Is it possible to tell me my future?
The vampire's fate is...
All right.
You'll cast your heart into the fire without hesitation, Jonathan. For pain is only for the mortals.
I would rather not know. How did you learn about Mary? And spare me the hocus-pocus parlor tricks. The truth, now!
Swansea told me. Don't look at me like that. His task is to observe and gather information about vampires. He had to tell me about Mary.
She could have survived as a vampire.
Not all vampires.
I could have saved her.
No, John.
Man,
Of course.
I know there
It was 1800.
What was the
problem? That's
so
one.
Goodbye, sir.
I rarely... A red river, a song in the dark, the whispers of a sun. So many signs to interpret.
Vampires are so weak! Watch out, boys! I shall be there. I'll kill you!
You traitor!
Over there! It's one of them birds! It's a leech! Oh my god!
What is this trouble? Are the vampire hunters here already?
Stun for him! Remember your lives, friend! I shall fear no evil! Stop! Best be on your way home.
Mine! I'll take it.
Anyway, we got one of them! All of you bloody leeches need killing! He's dead!
Those bastards. What have they done to Edgar? McCullum and his thugs are taking the credit for Edgar's abduction. They really mean business. Looks like he's wounded. I better follow the blood. Good evening. Do you need... Would have... There is any... Goodbye.
Never could keep anything from her.
Good evening.
Do you require...
Do you... Well,
I've read your son's medical report, Beatrice.
he was at death.
He's not...
Take care.
I die before my son. I die before my son. No. He needs me so much. So much.
Do you need my...
Vampyr. I will...
Thank you. Good evening, Doctor. And good evening.
No. I could have been a great surgeon. The greatest.
My sweet girl. Reads me like a book.
Good evening.
I'm okay.
Do you need...
And you?
I have to...
Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, Good evening. Is there any... Really?
Where?
Goodbye.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Ellen. As for me...
Good evening. Please show me one. Of course.
Tomorrow, more bodies will arrive and then sadly depart. I manage.
Good evening. Do you need... Don't... Goodbye.
More bodies will arrive and then sadly depart.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd like to...
Wise choice, Doctor.
Good evening, Doctor. Please show me. Of course.
Ultraviolet curtains and orichalcum powder. Dr. Swansea's always been a resourceful bastard. I bet he never told you he had this installed in case of a vampire attack. Says a lot about how much he trusts you.
What have you done with Edgar?
Don't worry. We don't kill humans. Even if your friend is deserving of a little punishment for what.
What are you talking about?
We know everything. Swansea and you created this bloody epidemic. You aim to unleash another disaster, just like William Marshall did.
No! I'm trying to put an end to it, just like you are!
You're the progeny, aren't you? Where is the monster hiding? It's still in England, isn't it?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Jeffrey, please listen to me.
No tricks. That shit won't work on me. We've found proof in the theater. Doris Fletcher was your first experiment. Now where is Marshall? Speak! So much for modern technology. Time for the tried and true. Do you know what this is, Beast? This is a drop of King Arthur's blood. The blood of a true defender of Britain. Stronger than your evil powers.
This is ridiculous. We're losing precious time.
True enough. Soon I'll bring your head before your coward of a father. I know! It hurts, doesn't it? The blood of a true defender of this land will protect me. Freewind prevails! I'll pin you down! We are the guardian of justice. Priwen shall prevail.
You can't accept the fact we're not enemies, can you?
We always have been, and we always will be. Of all the evils that threaten mankind, your kind are the worst.
Perhaps you're right. Maybe I am a monster that deserves no mercy. But that's not all I am.
You're nothing but a corpse animated by evil, Doctor. Don't try and fool yourself.
There is no way you'll ever let me be, McCullum. You'll always hunt me down, won't you?
There is no escape, Leech. Kill me now. For there is no way you can sway me to your ideals.
That's where you're mistaken.
What do you mean?
I'll make you a vampire. I'll make you one of us.
No! Kill me!
Prepare yourself, Hunter. You're about to be hunted, just like me.
No! No!
When I kissed my poor man goodbye, I had no idea what I was doing. But now I do. Consider this my kiss of Judas. Welcome to the world through the looking glass. Good evening, Dr. Ackroyd. I have learned of the unfortunate fate of our colleague.
So, you already know. We're collecting money for his family. To have a proper burial in the current climate is a challenge.
I am surprised about your reaction to Dr. Strickland's death, considering your disagreement with him.
Strickland was young and idealistic, but he had a lifetime to become a great practitioner. He was just lacking insight, and we'll miss him.
You have a heart, Dr. Ackroyd. My God, this is a true medical discovery.
Only you can joke at such a time, Dr. Reed. Maybe that's your most useful skill.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you could...
Let's just say...
Carelessness.
We're here.
I don't...
Modern...
It seems we cannot... The death of Dr. Strickland also means the end of his research on the Spanish flu.
It's a good thing, I suppose. Unlike others, I would never have reported him.
You liked him. Admit it.
I'll admit nothing. Strickland was taking too many risks at a critical time. That's not medicine. That's gambling. Gambling with people's lives.
Thank you for your... Good evening, Mr. Goswick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
How are you feeling tonight?
As selfish as it sounds, the death of my mother forced me to stop drowning in self-loathing. It's almost like she saved me after all.
Your medical report says you're not affected by the Spanish flu. What do you think of that, Mortimer?
Does it make me happy? Not in the slightest. If it was up to me, I would have left this place long ago. I know I don't belong here.
And why do you think you don't belong here?
I know the staff have more important things to do than look after me.
Why?
I must admit I feel comfortable around here, despite the epidemic and all the sick people. Actually, I feel like I could help finance this place.
Finance the hospital? That's quite generous of you.
Let me be frank with you, Dr. Reed. I hope this cash injection will incite the hospital administration to forget about my situation.
I suspect you're not from the East End. Where are you from?
I've always lived in my mother's house, by Holland Park Avenue. I don't know if I'll go back there now, not after everything.
What is your plan now your mother is gone?
In fact, I truly don't know. Oh, I've been a terrible son. But now I'm feeling more alone than ever. And I don't know what is waiting for me next.
It's the same for us all, Mortimer.
I don't know if I'll ever have my mother's strength. But I can try.
Goodbye, Mr. Goswick. Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
It's a pleasure to see you again, Dr. Reed. Can I help you?
It seems your surgery was a success.
Yes, it was. I'm working here now, fixing what can be fixed. Paying off my debt the only way I know.
I'm glad your procedure was a success, Mr. Fiddick. That's good news in these difficult times.
Dr. Ackroyd may seem distant and cold, but he's good at his job, and that's all I needed. God bless him.
Dedication does not always generate passion.
Not only did he save my arm, he saved my life. There's many that wouldn't survive without this hospital.
I think it's too soon for you to go back to work. You should rest a little more.
Oh, I'm fine. And with this flu and all, no one else has the time to help repair the hospital. I'm glad I can help, Dr. Reed.
And what about your family?
My children visited this morning. I explained to them that Dad had to stay a little bit longer to repay the good doctors here.
And what about... How are your children?
It's been a long time since I saw them smile. With their mother dead, I'm their only family. They were worried sick with me here.
So, you're happy to work here?
It's the least I can do, really. I'm a good chippy, you know. And it's much safer than my previous job.
Really? Is it safer to work in a hospital during an epidemic?
The epidemic is not the only threat we face. My wife died during a German bombing raid.
Tell me, Harvey, are your children relieved now that you feel better?
I believe so. There was so much joy in my daughter's eyes when she saw me move my arm again. I guess I never realized how worried she was about me.
How our loved ones feel about us means a lot, doesn't it?
Family's everything, Dr. Reed. They're the only reason we get up in the morning. Couldn't put up with this life without them.
Are you still blaming yourself for your injury?
No. I know I took a chance and I got careless. But everything's good. I promise my boy will be all right.
I don't think I saw your children in the Pembroke Hospital.
They're still young, Dr. Reed. They never go out at night, and you're never here during the day.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915.
What happened? I'm sorry.
I would like...
How are your... How are your... Goodbye for now. Good evening.
Good evening.
Do you need...
I'm
Not...
Thank...
Goodbye now. Good evening.
Doctor...
Do you need an...
Yeah.
I have... Goodbye, Doctor.